Hello and welcome. This is Eric from AG Racing Central. WipeOut Omega Collection is one of my favorite racing games of all time. It has a great sense of style, awesome music, varied events and great gameplay in general. Having completed both the HD and the Fury campaign on the middle difficulty called Skilled, I thought it was time to tackle them on Elite, the highest difficulty, and document the process on my channel. For this endeavor I chose the Fury campaign, since then we can use the flashy looking Fury ships, and with the new race types they added in this expansion, it will make for a more interesting video series. Let's get started. In this first episode we tackled the first grid called Blitzed and its 7 events. First off, I was off on a single race on Talon's Junction in the Venom speed class, the slowest of them all. Since the events early in the campaign are usually a bit easier, I want to use a ship I rarely use, and I turned to Phisar. This did not go according to plan. The Phisar ship is very agile, but it also has one of the slowest speed stats in the entire roster. I just couldn't keep up with the opposition on the straights, and even a place on the podium felt impossible. Was I in over my head? Determined not to give up, I switched things up and chose Icarus for another go at the challenge. This ship is one of the fastest in the game, but the handling is severely inferior to that of Phisar, but I hoped that it wouldn't be a problem on this slow speed class. Things went much better this time, but it did come down to the wire. Lady Fortuna was definitely on my side the entire race, as I got the lucky plasma elimination, and I also picked up a turbo at the very end of the race. I was clumsy in the activation of said turbo, but it was enough to secure me the gold medal.
Race complete.
Next up was a speed lap on the Amphitheum. In this event type you have 7 tries to beat the gold time for a single lap through the stage, and at the start of each new lap you get 1 turbo to use whenever you want. I chose one of my favorite teams, EGX, but I fell just short of the time for the gold medal. Once again, I switched to the Icarus ship that with its great speed/handling ratio is ideal for time trials and speed laps. I had to use the double turbo technique that consists of using the turbo just as you cross the finish line, giving you another turbo right away. This way you can benefit from 2 turbos on just 1 lap. I used the second turbo at a peculiar place at the end of the track and made quite a heavy bump into a wall just before the finish line. These types of mistakes will not fly in the tougher events on later grids, but this time it was enough for a gold medal. The other speed lap event on Talon's Junction in the slightly faster Flash speed class went much smoother. Here I managed to finish with quite a clean run with the Harimout team, whose Fury class ship has great stats in both handling and speed. An eliminator event awaited me next, so I decided to try the Triakis ship that is much more durable than many of the others. In eliminator you score points for damaging and destroying your opponents, which makes for a different playstyle. First pilot to reach a set amount of points wins the event. On bumpy segments, the rapid-fire cannon is hard to utilize properly, but the homing missiles and triple unguided rockets usually result in a couple of points. And if you're lucky enough to pick up a Quake, you essentially have free damage, even though player skill is definitely involved regarding when the weapon should be activated. Since all weapon pickups can be converted into a temporal shield, part of the challenge is to keep track of whether your targets are shielded or not. This event was no problem either, and just by coincidence I reached enough loyalty points with Triakis to unlock a new snazzy paint job. 3 events left, and next up was a zone battle, an event new in the WipeOut Fury expansion. It's very similar to regular zone events in that the track is transformed into some kind of fever dream and you can't slow down your ship, but in zone battles multiple ships race at the same time. You don't constantly accelerate either. Instead you run over speed pads to accumulate energy that you can use to increase your zone level and your speed, or to drop a damaging barrier behind you. The first ship to reach the target zone wins the event. I personally never found zone battles to be among the tougher challenges, and as long as you avoid your enemy's barriers, you should be fine.
Boost session complete. Gold medal awarded.
A detonator event that was up next has the same level art style, but is something different entirely. Here you race solo and try to destroy as many orbs as possible, as your ship's speed increases more and more with every lap you complete. The goal is to reach a target score before your ship is destroyed. You inevitably receive damage from bumping into walls or the orbs themselves, usually when your gun is reloading. The slowly charging EMP is a last resort, as it destroys all orbs in quite a large stretch of the track in front of you. These levels never really gave me any trouble on skill difficulty, and at least the first event of the campaign went quite smoothly too. The event I saved for last was another single race, this time on the track Modesto Heights. This circuit is a relatively technical one, so I figured I would need more agility than the Icarus ship offered, so I went for Harimout again. I was off to a bit of a rough start and had to spend most part of the race clawing my way back to the top positions. The excellent handling of the Harriman craft really helped me through the tight chicane series of Modesto Heights, but when the last lap was coming to an end, I was still behind the leading ship. A weapon pad gave me a turbo at the most appropriate of times, but when it came to activating it, my nerves couldn't handle the excitement and I misjudged the corner and got stuck on the wall. Fortunately, my opponent flew off the track on the big jump just before the finish line, and I had officially completed the first grid of WipeOut Fury on Elite difficulty, be it with a bit of luck. In the next video in this series, I tackle the next grid in the campaign, and to watch how that goes, click on the video to the left. Or watch my other WipeOut Omega Collection content by clicking on the video to the right. Thank you for watching. My name is Eric from AD Racing Central, and I'll see you in the next video.